Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. As you can see, the grow room's been taken over and I've made up my mind today is going to be dedicated to getting this wood finished. I've had a look and it says, with reasonable temperatures, that this stuff is touch dry in 2 hours for coat number 1. It takes quite a bit longer for coat number 2 to dry. But we have a plan. What I did yesterday was I coated up one side of the posts and the ends. That enabled me to pick them up and move them to get them out of the way. Yeah. Today I'm going to coat that side again. So that one side will have had 2 coats. When it's dry, because I won't have coated the ends, I'm going to leave those. Or I might do the ends. The ends only really need 1 coat because they're going to get screwed onto a piece of wood. The water won't be able to get in there. It'll be screwed nice and tight. But yeah, I'm going to coat up that 1 coat again, so it's had 2 coats. Then when that's dry, I can turn it over, put them on my workbench and do the other 3 sides. And by not painting the ends, I can pick them up by their ends and move them over to here on the dry side that's already had 2 coats. That gets the first coat on the whole of the rest of it. And then hopefully by the end of the day, they'll be dry enough to put that second coat on. And that's the posts finished. Yeah, so that's that. The flat pieces of wood, I've done 4 of them, the 4 tops. Yeah. That wasn't intentional. And I'm not going to start singing and dancing. But yeah, what I did was I painted the sides and 1 surface. Yeah, and you have to bear in mind a few fingerprints on the sides is not going to be a big deal because they're going to get a second coat. But then I just stood them up, you know, they're sort of leant up against the things like that and got some nasty drips on there. But basically what I've painted is the underside, yeah, and the edges. So again, those will get another coat on the underside and the edges quite early on today, and they can be put to one side to dry, yeah, leaving the top, you know, the surface that we're going to look at. I mean, this was second-hand wood, and this sheet of wood was used to cut stuff on, so it's quite badly damaged, but that's the underside. That will be underneath. We won't ever see that again once it's all fixed together. So yeah, another coat on the edges and that underside surface put to one side. Because it's a second coat, it will take longer to dry, yeah? Then, when I've got those done, I've got the other 4 bases to do, and I'll apply the same principle to that and do the bottom and the edges and find somewhere to lean those up, coat number 1. And I might not get those finished today, but I'm hoping to get the tops and the posts finished today and dry enough to be stood out of the way, because as I said, I can't really do much else in here at the moment. Pardon me. And if all that's left to do is forget the big piece of wood, that's for the shed. That's to hold the fence post up. It's a long story. But those 4 bases are the bases for the posts. And yeah, so this is not hard work. I love painting, believe it or not. I'm one of those silly people who actually enjoy coating stuff up. Especially the final coat where you actually, you know, get your brush marks out and you stand back and you think, yeah, that looks good. I actually enjoy it. What I don't enjoy is preparation, which this has had none. It's not getting any. I'm not sanding it off or anything like that. This is for outside to sit some bonsai on. You know, it's not for the lounge or the kitchen doors or anything. So anyway, so that's what I'm up to. As far as the Orchid channel is concerned, I have a pre-recorded video that I will post today, and Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a bit messy for the next couple of days while I get this lot put together and outside. So that's where I'm at the moment. That's what's going on, and it's taking over my mind. Oh, I forgot to show you these. These are important. These little pieces, because those are to go on the bottom of the legs of the staging. Zoom in on the staging so you can see what the hell I'm talking about. Right, so that staging there is going to be for my Cymbidium orchids. The bonsai are coming off of there. And as you can see, the legs are they're 2x1. And the casters that I want to put on the bottom, the wheels, won't fix to 2x1. They tend to be square, so I can't screw them onto the legs. So the idea is that we've made some little feet for the legs with pre-drilled holes. So we will screw these to the legs and then screw the wheels to these little feet. So those have got to be stained as well. That'll be fiddly, won't it? You can see me getting it all over my fingers. Anyway, so as I say, we're busy staining stuff today and trying to get it dry. So I hope we get a sunny day. If we get a sunny day, the heat will come up. I'll be up 24, 25 degrees in here. That'll aid drying no end. And hopefully these 4 bonsai tree stands will be finished in 2 to 3 days time. I'm not going to actually put a time on it. In the meantime, I will order the casters for the other staging, and it would be nice to think that by the end of the week the staging will be sorted out, the Cymbidiums can go outside, or begin to go outside, because initially I will probably put them outside and bring them back in overnight for a few days just to sort of harden them off and acclimatise them to the outside world. And once that staging's sorted out and we get the Cymbidium sorted out, we can finalise the trees that are going to go on their individual stands. There's only 4, but it'll be 4 of my best trees. And also my biggest, because the stands are pretty big and chunky. So little 6-inch tree sat in the middle of that. It's not going to look too clever, is it? And I only want 1 tree on each stand. So they're going to be to display those trees as individual trees, not part of. The trouble is with staging is you put quite a few trees on there, especially if they're squashed up together. They look like a set of some sort. They even look like a bush or a hedge. So the idea to get 4 trees individually separated out and displayed, in their own right. The trees in question will be my Scots pine, my lightning strike, my hornbeam, my Deshojo maple, and I've yet to decide, but it's probably going to be that maple there. Yeah? So that'll probably be the 4 trees, and then the staging, the other staging that I've got will be, and the table on the decking, that will be used to spread the trees around and try and give them some individuality. And I might get some facilities to raise some trees up. In other words, some more stands, which might simply be some bricks or something. Yet to be decided. But it's certainly going to look an awful lot nicer with some individual trees dotted around the garden as part of its design. So that's what I'm up to, and wish me luck, but there's been a fair bit of planning going on, and then when I had the offer of the timber, free, I mean the posts I've had for ages. The last time the guy next door had a clear out, he had a skip, and those posts were in the skip. Well, if they've been thrown away, you don't need to ask, do you? So I took those out the skip, and this time round, these sheets of plywood have just been lying around in the carport, and he offered them to me. He said, help yourself, anything you want out here, help yourself, because it's all gonna get cleared out, because they're moving house next door eventually. Been doing it for nearly a year and still haven't succeeded. But yeah, so the timber effectively was free. The stain I already had from the previous staging that I've already done, so I haven't paid any extra for that, and there should be enough for what I want to do. And the only thing is, I think I might have enough screws, but I might have to go and buy some screws, because they need to be quite long. I mean, this ply is nearly an inch thick, and when you're screwing into the end of timber, into end grain like this instead of like this, you need to go in deep, otherwise it just doesn't grip very well. So there we go. Work to do, and it is currently 5 minutes to 7 in the morning. I've been up since 4:30 because somebody, no names mentioned, decided it was breakfast time and it was getting light and I should be up. So noises were made and we got up. Little tyke. He has his breakfast and goes straight back to sleep. It's a pity I can't actually do that. But anyway, I wouldn't change it. He is what he is, and currently he's asleep on the carpet on the floor. He normally goes back up on the bed, but he stayed down here with me this time. So anyway, work to do, and hopefully the finished result and my plans for their use is going to make quite a difference to the way the garden looks. I've seen other people's bonsai displays, and I mean, some people have just gone mad and got so many trees, it just looks like clutter to me. You know, you just look and you sort of think, all I can see is trees in pots. None of them look special. You see what I mean? The only way you can get a tree to look special, I believe, is to have it as a separate entity with its own space, literally, so that you can walk round it. Yeah? And that's what I want. That's part of the garden design, along with the plants in tubs, the plants in the gravel beds, so that there's some, you know, eventually there'll be some colour as you walk down the path. The planted border with all its flowers coming on. So, you know, it's an overall design, and I want the bonsai to be part of the design, not just some trees plonked together in a group, which is what they're like now. So, it's coffee time. It'd be breakfast time soon, but not yet. If I have my breakfast too early, I want another one about 11 o'clock. Anyway, see you next time. I'll be getting on with this relatively soon. The sooner I start, the longer the drying time. So, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.